Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Vision Clarity Leadership Podcast. My name is Seth Yelorda, and I'll be your leadership coach for the next few moments, helping you become a high-performance leader and really a high-performance individual who can do big, bold, courageous things, both in your life and on your team. With this podcast, we are on a mission to help every person see themselves as a leader and to equip every leader to lead their teams with a clear, compelling vision. And so each week we provide free tools and resources that you can expand your life and leadership capacity so that you can live a big, bold, courageous vision that will inspire others and change the world. And I would just ask that if you find this content valuable, that you would write a review or rate the content wherever you consume it. And please subscribe. I'm always looking for a 5-star review, and it would mean the world to me if you would help us reach that goal. And also, please share it with your team, your friends, your family, your coworkers. We're on a journey to build a community of visionaries with this podcast, and so you sharing this content is one of the best ways to help us do that. In today's episode, I want to share with you the Vision Clarity Leadership Framework. Now, this is a framework that we've created here at Vision Clarity that really helps leaders understand the core components of the work they should be doing. We know that as a leader, you are there to inspire your team, give direction to your team, lead your team, make sure that people are aligned in creating goals and creating objectives and accomplishing the overall mission of the organization. But I want to kind of double click that. I want to go a little bit deeper with that because I want to give you what we like to frame as our framework here at Vision Clarity that really helps leaders conceptualize the work that they have been called to do. There's only really 3 steps in this Vision Clarity Leadership Framework. So let's dive in. The first thing that a leader must do on your team is you must clarify the future. It is extremely important that as you step into a leadership role, one of your primary responsibilities is to lead with vision. You have to clarify, where are we going? Why are we going there? What does the future look like for our organization? Even though we might be living in a time of volatility and uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity, even though we might be living in a time where the future is unknown, as a leader, it's your responsibility to take in all of the things that are going on around you and to be able to say, in spite of everything, this is where we're going. This is what the future of our organization looks like. And so the first thing I try to always encourage leaders to do is clarify the future, not in ambiguous terms, not in this high, fluffy language. But you need to clarify the future very succinctly, very detailed, very granular. On a granular level, you have to be able to say, this is exactly what the future looks like. This is no different than what we encourage individuals to do who are in their personal life. That if you have a goal, let's say it's a financial goal or a fitness goal, you need to set a very clear picture of what your financial future looks like or what your fitness future looks like. You have to clarify the future for yourself. And if you're leading a team, you have to clarify the future for your team. Now, some suggest that they go so far out as 10 years out, and I think that's good to have a long range vision. But more importantly, you really need to clarify the next 3 to 5 years. If things remain the same, which most likely they won't, but if they remain the same, what do the next 3 to 5 years look like for us as an organization? What will we be doing? What are our goals? What are our metrics? What are our objectives? What does a vision look like? I've used this analogy before where if you're going on a road trip and you invite some friends to go on this road trip, the first thing they're going to ask you is, where are we going? Because if you're going to South Beach, Miami, Florida, they might want to go with you there. But if you're going to like the country of South Carolina, no shade to those who live in South Carolina, they may not be interested in going there with you. So when you are assuming a leadership role and you're bringing your team together, you have to clarify, what is the destination? Where are we going? What's the end point? What does our future look like? And you have to paint the picture with clarity, with inspiration. It needs to be concrete. The picture also needs to be compelling. The future state needs to be compelling. If you say to me, Seth, let's go on this trip, and the destination isn't compelling, I'm not going to be really excited. And the whole way while we're driving there, I might just be disengaged. So if you want me to be engaged and rowing in the same direction as you and bringing my positive energy, I need a compelling picture of the future where I can see myself in that picture, and I will want to, with all of my heart, be a part of that future. So step number one as a leader is you have to clarify the future. Now, after you clarify the future, the second step I want you to focus on is you have to raise the floor. And I love this term, raise the floor, because what that is essentially communicating is our standards have to be different. Because we've now clarified the future, there are some things, some behaviors, some mindsets that we may have engaged in the past that we can't engage in the future. We have to raise our level of belief. We have to raise our level of confidence. We have to actually change our relationship with the future, because I can't be on a road trip with you to Florida and the entire time whining and complaining and griping about why we're not going to San Francisco. If we're going to Florida, I need to be all in. I need to raise my belief, raise my confidence in our ability to actually reach the destination. There's a lot of teams out there that I work with where the leader will come with a compelling picture for the future. They will clarify the future, but the team doesn't believe it. The team doesn't believe it because maybe the leader has gone down this road before. Maybe this leader has tried to sell them a pipe dream before. Maybe the leader has said things in the past that they didn't actually complete or fulfill. And so as a result, it leaves the team feeling like, okay, yeah, you say this is what the future looks like, but we're not going to get there. And so because the team doesn't believe in the future state, which you are articulating, they don't put forth the energy, the time, the dedication, or the commitment to actually get there. So as a leader, you have to make sure that you are shifting the belief system of your team so that now they have a positive relationship with that future state. They have to believe. If you're working with a fitness coach and the fitness coach is like, hey, we're going to get you to lose weight, you're going to lose 40 pounds, and you don't believe it, you're not going to put forth the energy and the effort because in your mind, it's not possible. And the fitness coach is going to have to drag you along the way, and it'll be very painful and a very difficult process. The same thing happens with teams, that as you are leading your team, you have to get them to change their relationship with the future. They have to see the future as something not only that they can accomplish, but they believe they can accomplish it with conviction. You want your team to be convicted about where they are going. And so raising the floor is really about raising your belief system. It's about raising your standards of behaviors, the things that you're now going to engage in that maybe you didn't engage in before, or maybe there were some behaviors and practices that you used to do that are no longer conducive for where you're trying to go. And so because our past behavior doesn't line up with our future state, we have to raise the floor and no longer engage in that type of behavior. If you're going to accomplish anything in life, you have to be willing to raise your floor, raise your standards, raise your values so that they align with where you are trying to go. The future version of Seth cannot engage in some of those same behaviors that the past version of Seth believed in or engaged in. Seth has to raise his floor. And the future version of your team can't engage in the same behaviors that the past version of your team engaged in. You have to raise your floor. So the first step is, as a leader, you have to clarify the future. The second step is you have to raise the floor. The third and final step is you have to burn the ships. And burning the ships is an old metaphor that is often used to signify an intense, unwavering level of commitment. That when you set out to your team and you say, hey, this is where we're going, you have to be all in with that commitment and with that decision. You can't be wavering. You can't just put your foot in the water and see if you like the direction. You have to jump cannonball style into where you're going. Now, that doesn't mean you don't run tests or pilots or a beta version, but you really have to have a burn the ships mentality. Hey, team, This is where we're going, and we're not turning back. This phrase, burn the ships, was actually a historical phrase that was coined when Hernan Cortez, the Spanish conquistador in 1519, arrived in Mexico to conquer the Aztec Empire. He famously ordered his men to burn their ships. And by doing this, Cortez sent a clear message to his troops that there was no turning back. Their only option was to move forward and conquer or face death. The removal of the possibility of retreat was meant to focus the soldiers' minds and ensure their full commitment to the task ahead. So when we say burn the ships, we're saying there is no retreat, there is no going back. We are going all in. We are fully committed to this process. So as a leader, you have to raise the level of commitment to your team by letting them know this is the option. This is what we're doing. There is no turning back. We have to go forward. So as a leader, you have three things. You have to clarify the future, you have to raise the floor, and you have to burn the ships. Now, this is not something that you should do in isolation. This is something that you should do in concert with your leadership team. I don't ever recommend a leader saying, well, I'm just going to do all these things and I'm going to pass it down to the team like, hey, this was the decision, let's go. No, we firmly believe in shared leadership. Pull your leadership team together and have conversations around what the future looks like. Have conversations around what raising the floor looks like, and have conversations around what burning the ships look like. This is the Vision Clarity Leadership Framework. And I want to encourage you as a leader to ask yourself these questions. Have I clarified the future? If I pull a random person from my team and say, hey, what does our future state look like 2 to 3 years from now? Will they be able to accurately paint a picture of our organization, a picture that we have the same picture in our mind? Ask your team, what are the behaviors that we're leaning into that we're no longer doing? Ask your team, what level of commitment do you think people have on our team as it relates to their future self and to the future of our organization? Ask yourself if you're actually doing these things. And if you're not, now is a perfect time to begin. We work with individuals and organizations to help them clarify the future, to help them raise the floor, and to help them burn the ships. And if that's something that you would be interested in, I would love for you to visit our website, visionclarityconsulting.com, and reach out, and we would love to have a conversation with you on how we can possibly help you really embody this Vision Clarity Leadership Framework so that you can accomplish more with your team and achieve the goals that you've set to achieve. Thank you so much again for your time, and please like and subscribe and share this episode with your team. Peace.